All right, what to draw today? How about our school mascot? I'm missing Brumfield, and I know some of you guys are too. So let's start with Spotty. All right, before I even start to draw, I take a look at my paper. And in my mind, I plan out where I want to put things. So I'm thinking the head's going to go way up here, the long neck, the body, and then the four legs. So take a look at your paper and find the top corner. That's where you're going to want to start. And again, if I start to think to myself, I want to draw Spotty the Giraffe, that's really intimidating. So instead of thinking of the whole picture, break it up into simple shapes. So, simple shape to start with first. I'm going to start with the jaw of Spotty so they can chew down those big leaves. So I'm going to do a big circle. Now, if you want to, you can continue your circle and make it a full circle, or you can stop there and just make it a sideways letter C. That's fine too. Now I'm going to go for Spotty's big snout. It's kind of like a rectangle, to which I'm going to draw the bottom line. Now I could do a straight rectangle and it would look just fine. But if I look at pictures of giraffes, it has a little bit more of an angle and a curved lip. So I'm going to do a little curved lip right here and then out to a bigger angle. Now you can kind of see this is almost looking like a horse's face, but if you compare the anatomy of a horse and a giraffe, it's really close. So if it looks horse-like, you're doing a great job. Okay, then I'm going to come up and do a curved line towards the neck. Now I'm going to draw the neck. It comes down really tall. 2 long lines. I start a little bit skinnier here and get a little bit wider. Time for Spotty's back. Coming down into a curve to the back. They have a nice long back. Can you see that? Oh, gotta pull this way. Okay. Now, giraffes can run really fast. Boom! And they just shoot off. So I need to draw that powerful back hip. Again, if you want to draw a full circle like I just traced on my paper, you can. That's a great way to start, and then you can go back and erase it. I'm going to draw there, skip a little bit of space, and continue my circle so that you can see that powerful back hip. Boom, off and running. Now it comes down towards the knee, almost like an upside down triangle that doesn't quite come to a point. Okay, and his knee's a little knobby, so I'll do a backward C, little curved line for the bump, down to very skinny legs. Very skinny. And then a hoof. Hoof's just a little rectangle. Sometimes I'll put a curve on it. Hey, that's looking pretty good. So just to recap, sometimes I know I go a little fast on the other ones, so that's why I'm going slower this time. You got your back line, which is kind of straight, comes into a curve. You can draw the whole circle for the hip here if you want, or just skip a space and then draw your curved line. Then it comes down into almost an upside down triangle with no point, doesn't connect, to a curved line for the knee, down to a skinny rectangle for the leg, and a little square or half of a square with a curve for the hoof. Okay, now time for the giraffe's belly. It's so cute, I just love it. It's a big curve, okay? From right about there on the hip to right about where the neck ends. Do you see that I keep using imaginary lines to check myself on my paper? You can do that with your art, and that way you know you're in the right place. All right, time for that front leg. Now that front leg has a big muscle right here too, so that it can kick off and run. So I'll come down, hit a bump for that big muscle, which looks weird at first, I know, but when it comes together, it looks fine. Now if you want to do a circle right here for that big muscle, you can. Or you can just draw the back part of the leg. And then again, it comes down like that one did to the same spot, upside down triangle, then a bump for the knee. Okay, now down a little skinny rectangle, line them up at the same place, same skinniness too. Sometimes I'll even measure with my fingers to know that I've got it right. And a hoof. Now right there did not connect. Do you see that? So I'm just going to add it in right now. Oh, I got a lopsided giraffe. If I don't be careful, he can just fall over because he only has 2 legs. Boop, boop. So I need to add my other 2 legs, but they're kind of behind. So there's a little trick for adding 2 legs to a 4-legged animal. You're going to draw the same leg you drew here, but just scoot it over a little bit. So right about here, I'll draw the same thing. Almost parallel lines. Come down. The hoof's a little bit further back than that hoof. So he looks like he's standing on ground. And then back up. Now I got the back of the leg. And when he runs into that other leg, just let it live. It's done. Don't need to mess with it any. Same for this one. I'm going to bring it down. This line's copying this line. And then down. A little bit shorter hoof. So he looks like he's standing on the ground. And then back up. And when it bumps into that other leg, I just leave it be. Looks pretty good. Now you can stand strong. Okay, favorite part. Time to add the details. Giraffes have these swatty tails to get rid of all the flies that bug them. So I'm going to do my tail going down. You could always do yours curved up. In fact, why don't you practice it with your imaginary line and see which one you like better. So I'm going to slide this over, it looks like. Wrong way. It's tricky when you're recording. Okay, so now you can see the tail spot. And I'm going to go down with the same line, and I'll just let it get a little bit skinnier when it gets to the bottom. And then I'll do a brush. Kind of like an upside down teardrop. And then just add the hair in. Just squiggles. Just squiggles. Now I can swat away those flies. That's good. Time to come up to the head and do some of those fun parts. I'm going to start with the horns, which is my all-time favorite part of a giraffe. And yes, I know we don't normally call them horns if we're giraffe lovers, but for today's episode, I will so everybody knows what I'm talking about. So I'm going to draw a rectangle with a circle on top. Doesn't quite look like a horn yet because I have this line in my way. Now, if you did pencil, you can erase that line, but I didn't, so I'm just going to fix that mistake by coloring it in all the way. Ha ha ha. You and I are the only ones who will ever know. Don't tell anybody. Just kidding. Sometimes I'll even do like a little squiggle at the bottom there, but you don't have to. You can just leave it a square. Oh, I might need to turn it so you can see a little better. How's that? Because now we're into the details. Okay, so now I need to do my horn a lot like I did my leg. So it looks like it's on the other side of my giraffe's head. So I'm going to start with my rectangle, but only go to the line on the back of the head. And then I'll do another circle. And then I'll color it in. And if it bumps into the other one, that's okay. It's not a big deal. Got some proud horns, this Spotty does. Oh, he's looking great. Love it. So just to recap, because that was quite a bit, we did the back leg, which was the same as this leg, repeated just a little bit shorter so he looks like he's standing on the ground, and back up. And once we hit the other leg, we stopped. Same with this one. Repeated this line, exactly the same, came back up, and once we hit the other leg, we stopped. Tail, you can do going down or going up. Oh, can't see my tail. There we go. And I just did a curved line down and one right beside it. Then for the brush of the tail, squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. Okay, now back to my giraffe's head. I did horns by doing a rectangle with an oval on top and coloring it in all the way. For the back horn, I went ahead and made sure that you could not see the bottom of it, so it looks like it's behind, and repeated those same shapes. All right, now time for an eye. Football shape, which is like a lemon. Curve on top, curve underneath. Okay, basketball shape, just a circle. Baseball shape, just a tinier circle. Then the giraffes are famous for their long eyelashes. Again, so they can swat away those pesky flies. So I'm going to do some curved lines right at the top of my eye. And they get a little smaller as they get closer to the edge. What do you think? Okay, his nostril is just a colored in oval. And I think I'll do a lip line too, which I like to wiggle my line just a little bit so it's not perfectly straight, and that way it looks like he can eat. He needs some ears. Oh, Spotty, you can't hear anything, can you? So I'll do, just like I did the tail, a teardrop shape, but I won't connect the bottom. But if you need to, you can, and just erase it. And then I'll do another one just a little bit smaller for the inside. That line running through is kind of bothersome to me. And because I did not plan ahead, that's okay. I need to work with it. Instead of erasing and balling up my whole paper, I'm going to color in that ear. That looks pretty good. And then maybe later I'll add some spots or something there. So you and I, again, will be the only ones who ever know that it's there. Okay, now I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do a line. Same shape, but I don't need to do the inside because that's the back ear. Oh, Spotty, you're looking good. Something's missing. Something's missing. What is it? That's it. Thank you. Spots. Of course, our giraffe has to be spot on. So spots are really fun to draw because they're kind of like puzzle pieces. They get really close together, but they don't touch. Social distancing spots. That was just for you parents. Hope you're listening. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my blobs. Doesn't really matter what shape. And then, to draw my next blob, I get really close, but I don't touch. And I let it look like it's going off the edge of the paper. If you'd rather just draw circles, you can. It's up to you. I like to do these because it's kind of fun. Almost therapeutic to draw blobs. Let them get really close, but don't touch. And then, as I get closer to the head or closer to the bottom of the body, they start to get smaller. So I'm going to go towards the head and do some small ones. They're still close, but they get a little bit smaller. And here's that one I was going to hide in. Yeah, that works. And I could start to color them in now, which actually I think for time's sake, I'll go back and color them in later. Put that blob there so it hides that line. Just a few on her cheek, on his cheek. Oh, that looks really good. Now, as you're working on your giraffe, you can think to yourself, I would like this to be a realistic giraffe. And when you go to color it, you can color it yellow and brown. But remember, this is your art. So if you think to yourself, I want to make this giraffe really wacky, and you want to make yours a rainbow giraffe, I'm totally cool with that. Give it a unicorn horn too. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. Wherever your drawing takes you, go with it. Sometimes when you're being the most creative, you just let it happen. And it can be really exciting. See how I'm getting smaller as I get closer to the leg? Because right down here, I'm going to go ahead and show you. It's barely any. Just tiny ones. And they get a little more rounded. Okay, keep adding. And if you don't want to draw a giraffe, you don't have to. You can go around your house and look and see what kind of things you could make art out of. With your parents' permission, please. And maybe it's something that you want to make a sculpture. An old egg carton or something like that. The cool thing about art is you don't have to have a lot of money to make it work. You just got to be able to think, which is kind of exciting. As I go along here, the belly too gets a little smaller spots, okay? So I'm just going to keep going with my spots. Spots can take a while, especially if you're trying to get them real close together, but don't let them touch. That takes a little bit, but that's okay. It's fun just to draw. Something about hearing that marker on the paper that just excites me. I don't know what it is. See how I let the spot go off the edge? I don't have to worry about it being a perfect spot. That makes it look like it goes around the giraffe and it doesn't just quit. Pretty exciting. So I'm going to be bringing a few of these drawings to you. Some different things that relate to Brumfield. Again, I hope you join me. And if you do, you're more than welcome to post what you draw. I can't wait to see. That'd be really exciting. I'm going to be posting them myself on my Twitter page, which you can follow me at Artful Miss Beach. All right. It's been really nice spending some time with you guys, and I hope to see you again soon. Post what you draw. I can't wait to see. Bye, my friends.